And blessings, family. Sister Ajali, this I didn't do this. This is beyond my ability to put stuff together, so it would be seamless. But is so apt. Where I know that's the cover of Prince's album, but with Obama's face, this is perfect, absolutely perfect. And we know, we know. It's like what's happening is a process that occurs whenever anybody gets caught out there and they're evil. I mean, you could be basically making a bad mistake, like you get your hand caught in the cookie jar, you're 5 years old, and you're not evil. But there's an automatic process, the response that goes along with that, where usually you cry because you've been caught out there, you know you've been caught, or you might go into epic denial. Or if you happen to be evil and you're the satanic elites and you know there's no more time to jump stuff off because you cannot put man made radiation and principally Fukushima back into the cookie jar, you expect your employees to be able to protect you, to keep you out of the radar, so that first there'll be so many people dying of treatable conditions if you know what radiation does, but you give them false reasons to believe that everybody's dropping dead. And so many folks will just sort of waste away that you, as the satanic elite, kind of hope you don't have to worry about them waking up. And then folks never reach the conclusion that we have devils in charge of our day to day concepts of what matters in life. And when these employees are not successful, then all sorts of really just awful stuff starts happening, including this dude in the first place being selected to become president of the unentitled Snakes of America. And this is probably going to be a long share, but I need to put all the data, the information in there, because I no longer trust that these giant black platforms, even the ones that are like pro-black, are, I know they're not going to bring into it what integral role the man-made radiation is playing, but that's not going to be the sum of what I'm here to share. What I'm here to share is how this guy is being exposed. Same way Patrice Cullors was exposed. Same way that was his silly Porter got kicked out of his NYC apartment, and his owner, he calls him his husband. No such thing. It's not a confluence of equals in any way, shape, or form. He also divorced him. I would be slightly interested to see how that would be, because obviously Silly was the submissive one in that relationship. So will he thereby be given alimony in some way, because he's not getting any more gigs, and that's good. He deserves every single moment of any possible agony that he would be receiving. And then you got Lizzo, who's being exposed to these things. They're happening so intensely with all these black celebrities. I would say it's part of the process of what happens as we expose that the satanic elites got caught with their hands. They're evil completely, like Baphometic clawed hands in the cookie jar of our planet's ability to sustain itself. And so an ex of Obama's, this is a young picture of Alex McNear, and whoa, I mean, she just looked evil to me. She's just all basic Becky looking, and I'm sure she hasn't improved. I'm just saying, I'm whatever. It is what it is. I'm just saying for Obama to have this chick as a girlfriend, there's a mindset going on there that folks don't wake up from, usually that deep. And Obama was raised by his grandfather, white man. He spent no time in anybody's black family. And so it's my deduction, it's my theory that he was MK Ultra'd out of his daggone mind. That's my theory, because both his parents were agents, and they were told essentially to produce a child so they could get their hands on that melanin. And that would explain Obama's actions over his entire presidency. I'll never, ever, ever, I don't forgive him for anything almost, but when he increased the allowable levels of radiation in drinking water by, I do believe, 15,000 times higher. Now, I could get into also how they even managed to wrap their mouths around that, where they on paper swear that that's legal to kill people with radiation. But I'm not going to do that. I'll do that on another shit. But yeah, when he did that, I was like, but I knew, but at that time I understood who he was and what he was. But it took a while because I was so Negropean. And when Obama was running for president the first time, that's when I met Dr. Z. And he just looked at me. He said, "You voting for Obama, huh?" And he pretty much he didn't laugh at me. But what he was saying was as if somebody from another planet were throwing me a lifeline. And I didn't know what the heck it was. And then I found out, because he made just his questioning who Obama was made me dig deeper, so that by the time he did that, increase the allowable level of radiation, I was like, okay, now I know who the hell this dude is. All right. And so Alex McNear, it has revealed love letters from Obama to her, where he said he makes love to men in his imagination. I don't, all the time. Yeah, I make love to men daily in the imagination. Really? This is a quote that I conclude they selected because they're just baiting everybody's curiosity right now. They are about to destroy Obama. But with who? Because most of black us who did any investigation, we knew Obama was gay. So they've been hinting at just, like, we're coming for you, Obama. I don't know exactly what they expect him to do, but play golf all the time. Because, oh my goodness, he's pretty much a real lazy dude. And Michelle, it turns out, is too, but I didn't know that, but I did some more research. But when this came back, where Michelle said that she couldn't stand him for 10 straight years because having children interrupted her career while he was just sailing straight ahead, I really actually don't believe a word of this now. And because Michelle was part of the Jesse Jackson crew, where she got her first job as a lawyer at an agency where she was upset if people asked her to do anything. I'm just saying, to be with Obama, you got a problem, because everybody knows was really not hiding his preference for men in a way where your wife would know about it. So my sympathies go to Malia and Sasha, depending on their choices as grown women. I don't know, because they didn't have to go to any MK Ultra programming. They just live in a constant state of it all around themselves. And that's terrible, because here you got your own mother calling you terrorists. What? And it's out in public. No, motherhood is never easy. But the love. I mean, when they put that baby in your arms, it's just natural. I was explaining to my son, earlier, because I was talking to a couple people today, but that when you have a child, for everybody else, if they're about to get hit by a train, you may think for a second, well, to save them, I'm going to have to get hit by the train instead. But when it comes to your child, you don't even ponder it. Their lives must go on. And so you will jump in front of that train. So you take the big impact, and hopefully they're far enough back that they don't get scathed at all. That is intense. That's how Allah made it, so that we will endure the work that goes along with caring for a baby, because it's just so satisfying. That's that responsibility that gives you such great rewards, is so that your life feels fulfilled. And I said that as far as homosexuals go. That's why they choose it. They're running away from responsibility, but then they're running away from the greatest reward. That's why they could just flip from this one to that one to the next one. And those around them could possibly have been taken out on purpose. And you're just like, okay, oh well, let me just put the next one in danger. Because I saw this Minnesota man, Larry Sinclair, and his report on his claim that he had a sexual relationship with Obama, that he wrote a book about it even. Barack Obama and Larry Sinclair, cocaine, sex, lies, and murder? When, as a person who wrote and continues to write books in order to get a just provable warning out, I respect when someone has the skills to sit down and put the data in front of people. I'm not saying that is 100% legit, but there are like with the Clintons, there's so much data and evidence that just points to what is what is. Like when we look at Epstein, only he's the one that they pinpointed for their own purposes, because they just are trying not to get caught with their hand in a cookie jar. So at this time when he wrote this, newspapers were ignoring him altogether. And with that, murder question mark, I really just, there's these, sites where they debunk stuff that are thoroughly full of crap. They're thoroughly like CIA control behind the scenes. I'm quite sure they said that no, he was never killed, but there ain't nothing about him anywhere, anytime anymore. So he supposedly 2 years after he came out with that, revelation, he was run over. No, not run over. In a car crash, he died. And the person in the car that hit him just disappeared. And so when you see things where within 40 days, 3 of the persons who tangled up with Obama they were killed. That's horrible. But they've been covering it all up because Obama was on that gravy train that was meant to run everybody else over and never himself. Because I'm going to leave a link to this article because it's just so intense. A timeline of what happened, how it happened, that Barack Obama was one of those homosexual men who was fast-tracked for an arranged marriage through, according to this article, Jesse Jackson. That's one of the things that he used to do. And so Michelle was always in his office. And And when I always looked at her being with him, I was like, she got to be a materialist. Just hands down, total materialist. It's just that she gives off a facade like he does of respectability. And so this article is just absolutely scathingly detailed in terms of what was going on with the Jeremiah Wright Church. That they all knew. We know. Guys with the hands in the cookie jar, we know. So when I think about that cookie jar, I think, what is it that you are in the middle of doing that you don't want us to pay attention to? And this is just one example, because I just am like, woo, them books, them radiation written by nuclear physicists books are scathing. They explain exactly how Obama increased the allowable level of radiation, and they have what they would want to call credible excuses, but as it is killing people, I know you've noticed the increase of our youth dropping dead suddenly, and that's not the way it should be when you're perfectly healthy and you're an athlete, right? They know they need us not paying attention. So I used to come on here to this site. This is in the video, Stupid Like the Sussexes. And I would just showcase every single one of these dots resulted in finding radiation contamination. This one just happens to have right over here 3H, which is tritium, but I also found the data, not my opinion, that tritium is disastrously deadly because it's actually absorbed right through your pores into your skin. It comes down in the rain, and it's hot water. Please explain to me any cell that's going to function at an optimum level when its temperature is exceeded because the water inside the plasma in the cell has been increased. That's good. I mean, our bodies precisely calibrate our pH level so that we don't break down. If your pH level gets out of balance for a sustained amount of time, that's when diseases start accumulating. And so the tritium, they hid it. They hid it after a while. They stopped all the studies on tritium because they were like, oh, we've got it. And so that's what's heating up the planet. There ain't no climate change because of our cars. The engines have been going for, I don't know how many hundreds of years, 100 years, right? But so what's the sudden spike in the temperature levels? That's what you got to see. You got to put it all together so you can figure out this evil hand in the cookie jar. It's not just made a mistake, little child. No, this is the devil. And so I could go to this site, the International Atomic Energy Agency. And originally they started the site because scientists were complaining. We need the data. We need to know what's going on because they know stuff is dying. Right? And they don't want us to stop dying because otherwise they would say something about the sea moss, which absorbs thousands of levels higher in radiation than what is in the prevailing water, right? So they're pushing that to us, but they're not saying anything about it, all right? And so now when I come to the site, and right here, I'm actually at the site. When I click on any one of these dots, they changed it. It doesn't come up anymore with the identification of the nucleotides found. It's just whatever. Because probably they were worried. I don't know if there were people who would see Stupid Like the Sussexes and actually do something that would save their own lives and confirm right on over here. It's not like it's not here. It's just that when other people come there's lots of folks who you don't feel like commenting. You don't want to engage. That's okay. That is you. You got to be the real you. Right? You can ask me anything that you want to, but I understand that. Some people, they don't comment. And so you'll go here wanting to be independent in your research. That's a good thing. but you're only going to do surface research. And they know that. And so you might come on over here and say, well, it doesn't say anything over here. So all of these, it might not be anything. And then also on top of that, you would have to actually now sign in to the site. And so they put your name on a list. I'm not worried. I'm already on somebody's list somewhere, obviously, for them to have changed this. The International Atomic Energy Agency changed the site. And what was the reason, the motivation? They got caught with their hands in a radioactive cookie jar. Right? I'm not saying they're exploding about Obama because of me. No. That's just because of us. We reject the agenda that they're trying to push on us. So much so that's why BLM and Patrisse Cullors got rejected by us. And if in the middle of that, we, in becoming more just grateful and proud to be black, but with knowledge, we find housewife me, then you're also going to find out that when it comes to that radiation in that cookie jar, they're shipping it. Not just with the CMOS, but I wanted to check. I was like, are they still shipping free rice to Africa? 2023, Japan donates 1,500 metric tons. That's a lot of damn rice. To Liberia. But it's real funny because Japan's rice demand has been falling for 10 straight years in a row. Nobody wants that rice because all the other countries kind of figure, that's some popping rice. Right? But when it comes to Africa, they're shipping it. So I collect the obituaries. I see an unnatural, not just with black us here, but with black them over there, an unnatural increase in cancers among Africans. Groups that never, ever worried about any such thing whatsoever. Suddenly now, just like on over here, we're seeing ours just falling out over there too. And so these are the things that they hope will be so, good. And some people just friggin' depressed over Obama being something that if you just asked any of us who were conscious what the hell's going on, some people might be upset to find out that, the proof. But we already had the word coming through that that's what he was, and not in just his imagination. Right? Because then we'll be too busy to save our children. I don't know. I don't know how many videos I did in the time that I've done videos going over our children. This one here, which is just like, wow. This is not accidental. That what? We're the strongest people on the planet. And our baby's going to come out the womb the weakest, the lowest birth weight rate, and the highest percentage of mortality. So they've got us at numbness where, I know me, when I visualize babies, I'm just there, okay? So when I see such a disparity, it's just heartbreaking because I would who could ever look at a baby and not just feel an incredible measure of protectiveness over that child, even if you don't know them. So I know that is the indoctrination. That is the MK Ultra Programming Center. It's just global. It's global. When you could look at something like this and instead you're drawn to being fascinated by a fool like this who was selected. I remember one of the things I heard, he went into a meeting and Clinton was all upset because he was like, who's this guy you got running for president? He should be shining our shoes. And Obama strode on in and said, all right, what you need me to do? I'll do it all. Right? This guy is a pig. He's a hedonist. And he's probably not even ashamed to be exposed at this point in time because he never meant anything. These folks have no morality whatsoever. They're sociopaths at best, psychopaths at worst. And all of them got their hands in that radioactive cookie jar that we need to be doing a straight beeline to separate and get away from. And I need to do a quick inclusion of these details because the World Health Organization, once again, I was right. It was a 70% increase of deaths from cancer. And they're saying, and it's going to occur in low and middle income countries. How do they know that? Because historically, which countries have the highest cancer rates? White ones. White ones. Here these dudes are talking about cancer's on the rise in developing countries. Just like with that graph. That's not an accident. Come to 25000yearcycle.org and get your heel on. I know soon enough, our success as a people is inevitable. But wouldn't it be great if that could be the inevitable with billions of us around? Wouldn't that be absolutely phenomenal? I don't hold out for that, but at the same time, I know whomever manages to get on the other side of this, you are going to be the fiercest warriors there ever has been. I'm including us sisters in that too. So come to 25,000 Year Cycle. Yes, escape the algorithm and find the cures that we all need. We all need them. And support the platform that is telling you the total, complete truth about what we're facing and how to defeat it. We're not here to fearmonger. If you feel like I have stoked your fears, you need to leave my channel alone right now. I'm here to let you know we've won. That's why they're exposing that we already knew he was gay. Gay dude. Okay? All right. I love you. Straight black family pride. And we own forever. Peace and blessings.